Good morning. My name is Miss Ellie White, and I'm here to talk to you about what are stars really? We have to go back to some early stories in order to determine this. And if you remember the very first birth child story of baby Jesus in the manger, okay? There's some pastors out there that will say that it was a rock in the middle of a field. Well, we know this isn't true. We know that Jesus was born in a manger in the town of Bethlehem, and they went from, facility to facility to say, do you have a room? Can we stay with you? And of course, hotels in those days, if you've got parking lots in big modern time cities, so that people coming to stay at your hotel can pull their car into the lot and then walk in and pay for their room. In those days, they traveled on camels and horses and donkeys and things. So, of course, they had a stable behind every little Bethlehem motel to provide for its customers because they'd have to brush and clean and feed and water the animals of the people coming in. Kind of like getting your, gas and everything done on your car and your oil changed before you leave on a long trip. They traveled on animals. So every motel had a stable with little mangers in them. These are wooden devices against the wall to stash the hand so it doesn't get trampled on the floor and excremented on and expensive food wasted. So this is what Jesus was born in. But before this, or I guess after the birth, you have a star in the sky that's traveling. It appears in the east and then travels westward, westward, westward until it arrives over the stable. Now, the three wise men were way back east. And of course, it took them about, a year and a half or so to travel to get to where the star traveled to and stopped. So they didn't get there until much later. But you still have the star traveling. It goes over the spot, and then all of a sudden, on all the hills all the way around, you have some people that would have traveled or would have just lived in the area with large herds of sheep and goats and whatever animals, and they're out on all these hillside regions all around this small town. Normal people that live there, the ranchers of Bethlehem, if you will. So an angel appears, that's the secret part, right after the star has traveled and stood over where the manger is. So then you have other events where you see the stars falling from the sky in Revelation and the angels being kicked from the heavens. And if you say it like that, all of a sudden you begin to see this picture of the firmament, which protects our flat earth, a rounded dome, at least in the part that borders the oceans. The wall, if you will, is ice, 200 feet tall, goes back at least 300 miles in the directions that have been explored thus far. And that appears to be circular. So we assume that the base of that dome is somewhat circular, but that the outside perimeter is square, and there's an angel standing on each one of the four corners of the earth. Okay? So these angels, and there are many that are in the firmament, that watch us and protect us and keep, evil that's not allowed in, because they could really bombard us if they wanted to. So God's giving us a little bit of protection and at the same time allowing in enough of the fallen angels and bad influences to provide us with temptation so that we are loving God of our own free will and not robots. He needs to allow that there's a testing period to see whose heart chooses to be good and right and just. Because we don't be created as either good or bad. We're all born as babies. And if we decide to ignore certain things, whether good or bad, that shapes our path and our destination and whether we end up being good or bad creatures, if you will. So every time, if you don't choose God and what way you're going to travel and that you're going to be a good person, you're going to follow, the rules that God has set down for us, you will be battered about like a wind in a storm. And the direction you go will be the last wind that finally pushed you that way. So we need to take responsibility and realize that everything we do, even things we don't do, are all actions. There's no such thing as an inaction. Not doing something, if you see someone getting beat across the street and raped and robbed and everything else, is an action. You just prove you're the biggest jerk on the planet. So we have to remember this. We can't just ignore things and say, oh, I want to stay out of this. Because once you're aware of a situation, if you choose to do nothing, that is a choice. Okay? So at some point, these angels are placed throughout the firmament. And we know they're not traveling at 6.6 trillion miles an hour after circling the earth at 666 miles per hour and the earth around the sun at 66.6 million miles an hour. We know none of that is true. And we know that because it's being smashed right into our face with variations of 666 or the lies of the devil. So you have a north polar star, and all of the other stars stay in perfect parallax, not 1 inch of difference in any direction at any point in our rotation, their rotation, the sun's rotation, traveling through space, not an inch of parallax. Now this proves that the earth is flat, it's not movable, and it's our original model that everyone throughout eternity always believed, followed, knew, and understood. And it only changed in the year 500 with Copernicus when he made working on Sunday illegal because he wanted to change the holy day from the Sabbath to Sunday so people would forget what the reason was for the Sabbath. And the church kind of went along with it because that was, Jesus rose and it's the first day of the week, so we'll celebrate that instead. And so they kind of, excused it and numerically went along with it. But the stars have not moved other than this rotation of a dish, if you will, where the whole thing circles around that North Star. And other than that movement, does not have any change whatsoever. Okay? So in Revelations, when it says the stars fall from heaven, and the demons get kicked out of heaven, and the good angels come down and battle with the bad angels, these stars falling onto the heaven are angels that are watching over us, and they come down and do battle with all of evil's forces when Lucifer, Satan, the devil, the beast, or whatever you want to call him, is released upon the earth for some final huge battles. So if you were to take a high-powered telescope and you were to look at the stars, you will see different variations, but there's some that are circles with it appears like, there's a little donut hole in the middle or something. You will see different colors and different sparkles, and the way that it shimmers is kind of like looking for something that you lost in the bottom of a swimming pool. There's definitely water involved in this, sort of icy shield, but yet it's strong enough to withstand nuclear weapons because we know that we tried to bomb it zillions of times with megaton nukes back from 1958 to 1962, and we couldn't break through it. So we know it's strong, but we know that as you look at it with a huge microscope or even a really good power zoom camera, you can see little waves and things in it, like you're looking at it through or beyond water. And it's possible they might even be in the water of this firmament, that's protecting us, or just on the other side of this icy shield part, okay? And the little fluctuations And the colors, some of them are not just because of looking through the water and the icy part of the firmament shield, if you will, that's a dome surrounding the earth, which is flat. But some of them are kind of like emissions that they create in and of themselves. So some of the wavering, sparkling color variations are from the ice and water that you're looking through, that makes it appear like a rippling effect. And some of it is the fluctuations or the color changes and bursts of energy here and there and everywhere that it itself is generating. And I believe that those generations, including the color, okay, as the colors change, are songs. So when you see a star sparkling, that's an angel that's singing to God. And the color fluctuations are songs, okay? Each color and the changes in it, if you watch them and chart them, it's like music on a sheet of paper, okay? Because our ears are not yet capable of understanding my ways are higher than your ways, as God tells us. Just because we can't hear them, like we know we can't hear certain, the dog whistle, or we know we can't see certain waves of light, like x-rays, okay? We can still see the effects of them. And we're only using 1/10 of our brain power. So, when we get to heaven, and all of that brain power is not only restored, but we're in a beautiful, new, and perfect body, we will be able to hear all of the angels singing. And there's a verse in the Old Testament that says that I'm listening to this and that and the other thing, and I hear God singing, okay? So God likes singing, and those angels are singing. And if you have absolutely nobody that you can witness to, and nothing that you can do good for God, then sing, okay? Because that is how we praise and worship our Creator, who made that firmament and those angels that are in the firmament to give us stability and assurances that everything is fixed and immovable, and I'm in control and I'm watching. And when the evil has run its course and you've all made up your mind who wants to follow evil and who wants to follow good, the evil will go to the lake of fire and the good will go to heaven. So when you look up in the sky at night and you see the sparkling and the colors and the variations, just know that those are angels. And the 7 wandering stars that we say are planets, they're not planets, okay? Since when can you shine a flashlight up at the sky and it makes something that's 93 million miles away sparkle like that, okay? And then we get these pictures back from NASA which show these flat objects, just totally flat in appearance. I'm not talking about spatial flat. I'm talking about sparkly versus no luster flat. And they're all absolutely flat in appearance. So how can NASA get a space picture of Saturn and Jupiter and Mars and things, and they're flat and dull and not sparkly? But yet here we are, 95 to 225,000 miles away. That's all. They're not millions of miles away. We have measured with the nuclear explosions we set up from 1958 to 1962 that the perimeters of this round Antarctica, which encircles our oceans and protects us, we've gotten a little ways out from the edge, not knocked on the perimeter itself, but shot up nukes, on the edges as far in as they went. And those measured 95,000 miles. And we know that we've sent up sun where we believe the center area issues are, and they're 225,000 miles, okay? So those wandering stars, or planets as we call them, those are the 7 spirits of God, which kind of, are letting us know that they're like the admirals or senior angels, if you will. They're keeping an eye on the earth, on the angels, the other angels, and on the things of what's happening on the earth. Because God is watching and waiting until His time. And then a lot of the 7 seals and then the 7 trumpets And then at the seventh trumpet, anyone that's still alive will go back to heaven. That is our rapture, my friends. But it doesn't happen until 7 billion people are killed off. So your chances of surviving long enough to get to the rapture are extremely slim. Especially live in the land of the great war that rides the beast, which is destroyed at some point. Because there's lots of bad things that happen there before the end. So just look up at the sky and be peaceful. Read your Bible, pray, and know that as you're sitting on earth doing everything you're doing, that the seven spirits of God are wandering about through our firmament, keeping an eye on things. And, you know, when you see Mars and it's a sparkling red light, okay, but they get up close and it's this flat piece of dust, okay, then call up your local CGI expert and we'll get that error handled later. But just know that those stars are angels, and the colors and the sparkling that you see are notes and songs and them communicating, which we are at this point, until we're made perfect again, not able to hear. But they're watching, and just look up and say, thank you, God. Thank you, God, for sending that little night light to keep an eye over me, to make me feel secure and safe, and to be able to see just a little bit outside at night so I know that everything is safe. You know, God did those things for our security and for our knowledge. So thank you, God, for all the angels that you've given us. And the Bible admonishes us to be very, very careful not to enter into angel worship. Because if you're just worshiping your higher power and angels, I'll guarantee you're worshiping the evil ones. Okay? Because every time a good angel has appeared and talked to a man on earth, and the guy drops down because he's so scared and says, okay, let me worship you. And the guy says, no, 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 no. Don't do this. I'm an angel. I'm sent from God as a messenger. I'm your brethren. I'm a fellow servant. Only worship God. Be careful. Do not worship, me. And that's what the angels have told the men that have come down that are good angels. So if you got these cute little thousands of angel knickknacks around your house and little candles and you're making little scents and doing special little ceremonies and things and you're worshiping any being that's has wings, then you're worshiping demons. Okay? Very, very scary and very dangerous to get into. So just keep that on a little good note. Look up at the stars, look up at the sky, and know that angels are singing praises and glory and honor to a God who's righteous and pure and true and deserves our adoration. And that's God. So follow the angels' examples and only worship God. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Contact me at Ellie White or buffalostudy@yahoo.com. Or you can always help out with a donation, please, at paypal.me/buffalostudy@yahoo.com. Thanks so much. Have a great day.